Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sarel van Gr8, aka Mr. VG, and welcome to video. I think feels like video 15 million in this series. I think it's video 4 in actual fact. And in this video specifically, we are going to look at the distribution of algebraic expressions. This is not so difficult, but it requires some pre-knowledge. The first bit of pre-knowledge you need is BODMAS. Now, I'm a bit weary of BODMAS, but it becomes in grade 8, I like to say BEDMAS. I like to replace the O that stands for of with exponents. So in other words, you must first simplify or calculate the brackets. Then if something has an exponent, then you've got to calculate that. Then you have to do division and multiplication, and then lastly addition and subtraction. But also some other things that you need is the basic exponential law 1, which says that x squared times x gives me x to the power of 2 plus 1, because there's an imaginary 1 there. It becomes 3. So if I've got something like xy squared times by xy, I add the x's exponents and the y's exponents. So this becomes x squared times by y to the power of 3. Please remember that. Then also you need the basic integer rules. Now your basic integer rules are that a plus times by plus gives me a positive, as well as a minus times by minus gives me a positive. A plus times a minus gives me a negative, and a negative times by a positive gives me a negative. Man, a lot of pre-knowledge you need. So you need to understand BEDMAS. You need to understand your basic exponential law, and you need your integer rules. Now, what we are going to look at specifically here is the distribution of expressions, but it's not something new. It's something that we call the commutative property. Now, if we look at 3 times by 5 plus 6, logic would tell you, or BEDMAS will tell you, I must calculate in the brackets first. So I could just as well say, this is 3 times by 11, which is 33. Or, and this is what this video is about, I could distribute the 3 into the bracket. Now, this might sound completely and utterly useless if I could just go 3 times 11, but what if I could not add the expression in the brackets and I still wanted to remove the brackets? Well, I can say 3 times 5 plus 3 times 6. Now, 3 times 5 is 15, and 15 plus 18 is 33. Wow! The answers are the same. We are going to use this property in the rest of this video. Now, at the beginning of this slide, I said it was the commutative property, and that's my mistake. Oh man, it is actually the distributive property, not the commutative property. That's a different ball game, but please don't judge me. It's sometimes confusing, all of these properties. But man, remember distribution, distributive property. So what we are going to look at is, in this video, I'm going to ask you to simplify these 3 expressions. I'm going to work through the first one, and then I'm going to ask you, go and do number 2 and 3, and then there'll be another video with a bit more difficult examples. Let's look at the first one. I want to distribute the 3 in. So I'm going to say 3 times 5 plus 3 times by positive 5x. Now, where does that plus come from? It comes from there's a plus there. So I could just as well have said positive 3 times by 5 plus 3 times by positive 5x. I know you don't have to write this step in, so you could straight up go and say, well, this is 15 plus 15x. Can I add those unlike terms? No, I can't, so I leave it there. You go and try number 2 and 3 for me, and let's see what we can do. Now, number 2 is I'm going to straight up go and say, well, 4 times 3 and 4 times negative 8. So that is 12x, because 4 times 3 is 12. And 4 times by negative 8 is negative 32. As simple as that. Now, when I look at question 3, I don't like it. I don't like that negative 2 is at the back. So I'm actually going to use the real commutative property, which means that around a multiplication, I can swap around. So I'm rather going to put the negative 2 in the front. Why? It's just the way I like it. So I'm going to distribute that negative 2 in to the back bracket. And then I'm going to say negative 2 times by 6x. Well, that's negative 12x. And then minus times a negative times by a negative is a positive. And 2 times 2 is 4. This is the distribution of algebraic expressions. So please check out our next video, which is going to go into a bit more of difficult examples. And make sure that you get when I can add and subtract like or unlike terms. Have a beautiful rest of your day, ladies and gentlemen. Cheers.